All right, Griz Nation, we are back here for another episode. We have a great pleasure of having a guest on, AJ Forbes, former offensive lineman for the Griz. AJ, thanks for coming on, man. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, appreciate the invite, boys.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So we're going to talk some football, but AJ, let the fans know, like, what have you been up to? What are you doing these days?
Yeah, so shoot, it's been kind of a roller coaster since since the season ended for me. So going way back into this last spring, I got the opportunity to go up with the Seahawks. I mean, this is way back early in the year.
Yeah.
Got the chance to go up with the Seahawks for their mini camp in this last spring going into the summer. Performed really well there. Thought we could probably do the whole pod on my on that whole thing. I could talk about that for a while, but no, performed really well. I mean, I thought I proved to myself that I could play at that level. Didn't stick, unfortunately, but that's just the business that I chose to be in. But now back in Bellevue, Nebraska. Born and raised here. I am now currently a strength coach in town, doing really well with that, growing the gym pretty substantially, actually, which is really cool. And then I actually help Marcus Wellnell. I help him run the good old Grizzlies.
Oh, very cool.
Collective.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I got my hands in a couple different things right now. So that's been great. I've been in charge of that of the NIL Collective social media for maybe starting all the way back in March or May. I can't remember.
Oh, very cool.
Got the chance to grow that. I think on Instagram we're close to 5,000 followers. On Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
Over 1,000 followers. Memberships are growing all the time. So it's great to see that. It's great to be part of that. I'm super thankful for Marcus asking me to be a part of that. So yeah, I mean that's basically what I've been up to.
That's awesome. I had no idea that you were assisting Marcus with the NIL and stuff.
Yeah. I've been the guy running up. So every time you see a good old Grizzlies tweet, that's me.
Oh, very cool, man. I had no idea that I was like, man, Marcus is doing I thought he was just doing all this stuff. So good to give you some props, man. That's way cool that you've been running that.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
What curious with that whole good old Grizzlies NIL, like how are things going? Are we looking pretty good with that? I mean, I'm just curious if you have any updates you could throw our way.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think as far as I know, Marcus is the general manager. He doesn't give me a spreadsheet of every member that we ever get. But as far as I know, it's going well. I think our goal is if we get 10% of the total following on socials, that's where I come in. If we get 10% of those people to be members, we're golden. So I think we're on track for that.
Cool.
It's cool to see all of my former teammates get paid. I was a year late, which kind of ticks me off a little bit. I was a year late, but no, it's been super cool to be able to be a part of that in some way and try to help my boys out.
That's awesome. Yeah, you can
to leave a legacy like that. That's pretty cool, man. So,
trying,
that's
man.
Awesome. That's awesome. And I bet you they appreciate it too. So.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I don't know how many of them really know that I'm really a part of it, which is also kind of cool. It gives me some clearance between those two worlds. So.
Right. That's very cool. I had no idea myself. Like I said, I thought Marcus was, but like you said, you got to have other people helping out, and I just think that's
for sure.
That's a cool way to still be a part of the program and stuff, even though not separate from it. So
great. And that's another reason besides me being a former player and wanting to see how my school does on Saturdays. Right. Now I get paid to do it. Now I can every time you see a good old Grizzlies live tweet, that's me.
There we go.
But no, it's been cool to watch it's been different. This is the longest I've gone since I was 7 years old to not play football, which is different for me. So obviously I'm going into the IFL here in March, but it's been weird. It's been weird to see the snow falling and the leaves changing colors and me not having to go out to practice. So it's a little different, but it's cool.
Yeah, that's
how is that? Like, how do you kind of regress from that? Like, always have talked to former players, and it takes a while to kind of die down from that. And kind of a lot of the people that I've talked to, they take a kind of a break from it and kind of don't go to games and kind of. But how is that? What kind of role are you taking? Or you're jumping right into it because you're doing the NIL thing. So.
Mm-hmm. So on one hand, it's cool because I still have the opportunity to play, right? So I still get, like, I just had a pseudo meeting, I guess you'd call it. Me and my O-line coach for the team up in Fishers, the Fishers Freight, texted back and forth just today talking about the playbook and how we want to do different things. I've been working out. I basically took my workout plan and I adjusted it throughout this time off that I've been not playing, and adjusted it to where I can ramp back up back in March. So it feels like I've been not been playing, but it feels like I've been preparing to play ever since, which is a really cool opportunity, and I'm super thankful for that. On the other hand, it's given me an opportunity to, like I said, kind of put my hands into a couple different things and see what really sticks, like just 2 days ago, came out with a book. Now I've been working on the book for 3 years. It's been a side project of mine for a while, but just came out with the book. And I've always been a writer, so it was a great. That was awesome to see. It's been blowing up, by the way. Like awesome. I've been struggling to keep up with orders.
That's awesome.
But yeah,
that's a good problem to have. Heck
yeah, it is. No, it's great, dude. Like every time I get a notification on my phone, that's money in my bank account. That's great. That's a great noise to hear.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I just been kind of digging. Just putting my hands in different things and seeing what sticks, and just seeing what I'm good at, because I know football is not going to be the end all be all. I might be able to, if I'm lucky, I'll play till I'm 30, 32. If I'm one of the good guys. But I know it's not going to last forever. So I'm kind of taking this part of my life now to set the foundation for things that I can do post football.
That's
awesome.
really smart.
So, how did you get? Let's talk about the book. What's the book called, and how did you get into this process?
Yeah, so man, I'm a nerd, man. I combine my two loves. I'm a nerd and I love football, so I just combine the two. And eventually I want to coach too. So I've always known that if you want to coach someday, you got to be able to you got to pick a system and you got to learn everything about it, right? And so for whatever reason, I don't know why, this system that Baylor was running back in the early to mid 2010s, lit college football on fire, right? I mean, there's still teams running it right now. Tennessee's running it, Mississippi State's running it. The offense in the mainstream is called the Veer-And-Shoot. There's really not a whole lot of veer to it. It's it's all spread out. It's all run game, RPOs. The shoot part is actually accurate. Even if you know anything about the run and shoot, it's all adjusting routes based on coverage and all that stuff. I'm not gonna get into that because I can talk for like 4 hours on that. But the book is called The Veer-And-Shoot: Unlocking College Football. Or, geez, I already messed it up.
It's all right, man. It's all right.
Look it up. So it's called The Veer-And-Shoot: Unlocking the most explosive offense in history. That's what it's called.
Nice.
So, and if you guys want to check it out, I got a link on my Twitter page. If you guys want to go look at that, that's where you can get it. Just
awesome.
Fill out a form, tell me how you want to pay me, then I send it to you. That's awesome. But it was pretty cool, and so I had been working on it for like the last 3 years, and so I mean that started out as watching games, literally pressing play, watching the play, pressing pause, drawing out the formations. So it's called padding plays, right? So you watch a play, you draw the formation, you draw the defense, you press play, you draw up what every player does on that specific play. Now that's something that I would use in my film study when I was playing for the Griz. It's a great way to learn because you get to understand the different intricacies of everything on a specific play, and then I go. I start falling in love with that system, and I start looking at different clinics, and I look at books. There's really nothing out on this. That's kind of why I did this, is to make it kind of a collection of information instead of trying to, because it took me 3 years again to piecemeal this thing together. So I figured, a lot of people are interested in this thing. Instead of trying to piecemeal everything together, I figured, putting everything into one cumulative collection of information, I thought that would be the best. And I was right, fortunately, because people have been wanting it. It was cool. I mean, I've had coaches in Canada reach out about it. I've had coaches, in Texas, East Coast, West Coast, all over the place. I've had a couple that actually worked with Art and Kendall Briles. I know that's kind of a blacklisted name at this point, but I've had guys that have worked with those coaches that come back. They bought the book, come back to me and say, "Hey, you were right on the money there." So that's a great feeling. Cool. Besides the monetary aspect of it, the fact that I was able to do that and be able to get things right that I wanted to get right. That was great satisfaction. So it's been great. It's been a great experience with that.
I'll be interested to see if you get any phone calls going, "Hey AJ, you want to come run our offense here at the University of so and so?" Or
No, and it's cool too, because I've had I won't name names, but I've had several offensive coordinators, even defensive coordinators. They've reached out, bought the book, told me that it's super interesting to them, and they get back to me with different stuff. I'm not trying to go be a college offensive coordinator right now, but no, it's been super cool. That whole experience has been super cool.
That's awesome. A question I guess I've got too, it's been 3 years where you were putting this together. Mm-hmm. While you were going through those plays and stuff, do you feel like it helped you when you were playing center? Because it looked to me when you were calling out all the offensive blocking schemes and all that stuff, and I can imagine if you're a student of that much of the game, holy cow, that must have been helpful just for you to see and just slow the game down, if you will, while you were playing offensive line.
Oh yeah, I mean, man, I can't tell you how. When I was playing, I was hardcore with everything, man. I was up in Coach Dermer's office every day, and me and him were because he was the run game coordinator for a long time while I was there, and so me and him would go up there. He'd be like, AJ, what do you like here? He'd be explaining the defensive structures on how I feel like Rain Man right now. He'd be explaining the defensive structures of the week that we'd be going up against. He'd be like, "Hey, what do you like here? What do you think we should do here?" And like I said, pad and plays is what helped me. I'd be able to understand that. And then even during home games on Friday, this is a cool story. Yeah. On Fridays, before home games, what I would do is we would have our team dinner at the DoubleTree, right? And so after the dinner, after we got dismissed by Coach Houck, I would make my way back to the stadium, and I would go up into our film room. And so our film room, the O-line film room, it's different than what most people see for everybody else. Actually, it's if you go into the Adams Center and you take you're going to a basketball game and you take a left over to the staircase. Yeah. That's where the film room is, and it's super cool. So it's kind of like our own isolated little spot, which is a great camaraderie thing. Anyway, so I would come back from the team meeting or the team meal, and I would go up there and I would go by myself, and I would throw the projector on, and I would literally hold the clicker in my hand, and I would move the sofas out of the way, move the chairs out of the way, and I would go through my steps. I would go to the end zone angle, and I would click the clicker, and I would go through my steps. I'd have the script, and I would go through the steps that I had on certain plays, make my calls. I was tasked with a lot when I was playing.
You could tell just by what you were doing out there.
Yeah. With that much responsibility, I needed to prepare. And so what like I said, I would do all that. And when we got to game days, I felt like I was responsible for putting my guys up front in the best position to be able to make that play successful. Right. And so whether that be changing a protection to go one way, because I thought they showed a safety down, nickel safety stacked with the nickel. So I think the nickel's going to come. So I'm going to switch the protection that way. Or it's they're bringing a safety down to the box, but I know he's coming. He's 10 yards out, but I know he's going to come down. So I'm going to point him out. I'm going to target him in the run game. All that. I had a lot on my shoulders, but I loved it, because I'm a student of the game. So I appreciate I appreciate you noticing that, because that took I was probably half my job, more than half my job, just to get everything right.
That's crazy. The second quarterback out there, man.
Well, that's absolutely. That's why this year, when not having that center position, I've been wondering all year, like, who is helping with that and stuff. And it feels, it's been a concern of mine all year, because we don't have that.
Yeah, and I think
on the line. So.
Yeah, and I think Cade has been doing. I think he's been doing a good job.
Yeah.
I do. I mean, he's a different type of center than I was.
Right.
We're both little gnomes. We're not like 6'4", 6'5" guys. You're not going to find a center that's probably 6'4", 6'5" anywhere. But I think he's been doing a good job. And you have guys around him like Journey and Brandon and Cannon even.
Yeah.
It's nice to have those guys around him. I think Brandon just passed me in all-time starts.
Oh, really?
I think he just hit 43. I want to say I had 42 or 43. I can't remember. But having that veteran group of guys around him is probably really good, because it's hard. I mean, it's hard to come in as a 1 year guy, because I'm pretty sure he's a senior this year.
Yeah.
Come in for 1 year and having to be able to command an offense like that. Like, I don't understand. I don't think people understand how hard that is.
It's super difficult. That's what I'm saying. Like, like you just said, 43 starts, and you've got to progress in like 3 years of studying film, where here, year one, figure it out, be
and it's tough. It's tough. And I've had a few, interactions with the new O-line coach. Obviously, Jimmer isn't there anymore, but a few interactions I've had with the new O-line coach. He seems like a pretty hardcore guy, and so I feel like he's been able to get those guys right. So that's pretty cool to see.
It's good to hear. That's
awesome.
Good to hear.
That's awesome. Well, we'll definitely put the link in our episode too as well, to get it out there and help you out, man.
Yeah.
So, but from all accounts, it's really interesting. Anything football wise, reading and from Griz, man, I'll support, and we're proud of you, man. That's awesome.
Thank you, I appreciate it. And the cool thing about it, the way I wanted to do it is I wanted to bridge the gap between coach and fan. I wanted it to be accessible to everybody. So if you're a coach and you want to look at the system and you want to know the different details, I got like drills, coaching points, alignments, formations. I got everything. I went crazy on this thing. But
awesome.
But if you're a coach, you can look at it as a coach and be able to get what you want out of it. But I also wrote it in a way that's kind of like a narrative. Sure. It's not like playbook. It's there's stories and quotes and everything about it. So it's for everybody who's interested in it.
Very cool.
That's awesome. So, you're playing indoor football league for the Fisher,
Fisher's Freight.
Fisher's Freight.
It's a suburb of Indianapolis.
Okay. And so how long is their schedule? Their season?
So training camp is going to be in March. I believe our first game is March 29th.
Okay.
And then the championship game is like mid-August. So if we're lucky enough to make it that far, then mid to end August is when the season will end.
Well, that'll be awesome. I know, like, as most Griz fans, when anybody makes it to any next level, we're always following everybody.
Yeah.
So we're excited to see how you play and stuff. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now,
appreciate you, man.
Does Dalton play in that league too, or is he in the AF arena?
No. So the way I was explained it is the IFL is basically the fourth best football league in the world. Obviously, you got the NFL, then whatever orientation of CFL, UFL you want to do.
Okay.
And then there's the IFL. Dalton, which is really cool. He just finished I think he's done now. But he just finished his career with the Bay Area Panthers. Yeah. And his offensive coordinator last year is now my head coach. Which is super cool. Which is super cool. But he had an awesome run there.
Yeah,
I think he had an MVP season in Arizona or Bay Area. I can't remember. But he had an awesome run. I just missed him too. I just missed him when I started playing.
That'd be
He
cool.
was done.
That'd be cool.
He was done in 19. I haven't talked to him a whole lot. He was done in 19. I got there spring of 20.
Okay.
But yeah, I think he just finished up his career.
Okay, cool.
That's cool.
Well, what do you want to get out of this? Because like your next step, you're playing football still. And second book, what, like, do you got an idea for a second book coming, or what's going on?
The book thing, it was a project. I mean, it was a side project that turned, because I would do it during the summers when we didn't have a whole lot going on football wise. I would do it whenever I had any real time off to do anything. As of right now, I don't have any plans to dig into another one.
You're not going to go the 3-3-5, the voodoo defense.
That's the other thing. That's the other thing about that defense. I know it gets a lot of crap, but that is one of the hardest. I can't imagine trying to prepare for that in a week. I mean, I remember when I first came in to Montana, my first practice there, I'd gone up against a 3-3-5 before. I mean, most of the time you get tight ends, you get a nose, linebackers stay there. That is not the Montana 3-3-5. It is a different beast, man. That's a pain. That'd be a pain in the butt to prepare for in a week. But no, I don't have any plans to write another book right now, mostly because I want to do it justice, and it took me a long time to figure this one out, and it took a lot of my time, but I would want to do it justice, obviously. I just don't want to put another one out just to put one out,
Yeah.
But as far as football goes, obviously I'm going to try to play as long as I can. Right now I'm fighting for that opportunity to, I had a taste of it in Seattle. And like I said before, I figured out then that I have what it takes to make it there.
Yeah.
And so now it's just a matter of fighting my way back there.
Right. Getting that opportunity.
Yes. Yeah. And as most Griz fans might know, my path has never been a straight one. I came in, I was a walk-on in Nebraska. That whole story. I was there for 2 years, transferred to Montana. I mean, my path has never been of the easy one.
Right.
And so I understand that. I understand the position that I am in. But if I can get back to that level, and obviously the money is great, but that knowledge that if I can get back to that level and I can sustain it,
right,
for even just a little bit is gratification to me, knowing that I was right.
Yeah.
Kind of the similar situation to when I came to Montana. I knew I could be a Division I football player.
Right.
I knew I could be a Division I center. I was told that I was too short and my arms were too short and I was too short. I couldn't play Division I football.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the same thing, right? It's the fact that I was right. I bet on myself and I was right. That's kind of what I'm looking for. Yeah. Obviously the money is great, but knowing in my heart that I was right about what I wanted to do with my life, that's what I'm looking after.
Well, AJ, I don't know you that well, but you feel like the type of guy where someone says you can't do it, you go, okay, watch this.
Yeah, watch.
And then you prove them, I can do this. It's like that's that motivation you get. Just tell me I can't do it. I'm going to show you. I'll find my way. It may not be this straight path, but I'm going to get a way to do it. So
yeah, I had coaches at Nebraska saying I was too short to play center and play Division I ball. I had an All-American season last year. So.
Yeah, exactly. Look at me now, the national champion.
Look at that.
Exactly. Yeah, that's awesome, man.
That's awesome. Well, determination, that's a big portion of that, right, man?
Oh, yeah.
Determination, you got the determination, you can outright talent anytime, because usually the people that have the talent don't have the determination to do it, and they just quit once it gets hard. So that's awesome. Well, I could totally see you as a coach, man. Like just hearing you speak, determination, being a role model for these young kids. Man, if I was an AD, I'd hire you on the spot, man.
Appreciate you.
Well, especially with the book now, like you said, you got coaches asking you questions. Like they can see your knowledge. So I quick question, I guess, on the book too. It didn't start off like a school project or anything like that, where they're like, hey, think about that. Just the fact that you love football and that's what inspired. I mean,
literally,
write a book. That's so cool. That's
awesome. You can, like, I'm at my desk right now. Like, I mean, I could show you all the notes that I have.
Oh wow!
Where's
Yeah,
it at?
look at that.
I mean, I have
Oh, man.
notebooks on
Holy
notebooks on notebooks.
That's what it
I mean,
takes. That dedication.
I was doodling before we got on here, looking at different defensive structures. I mean, man, that's just right here. I mean,
That's awesome.
It goes through. It's constantly rolling through my brain.
Yeah. You sure offensive coordinator isn't on
I know, right? I'm just like, dang.
Eventually.
maybe eventually.
Oh, man.
I got to get done playing first.
Well, that's just it. You go play until you're 32, and then whoever our AD is at the University of Montana is making a phone call, going, "Come on back over here, AJ."
Exactly.
So.
Oh man,
that's awesome. I love it. I love the student of the game part. Like it's. So let me ask you another question. When you're watching football, like myself being a former defensive lineman, I'm watching the line. The line play. That's what you're watching. See what happens, from there. And so I assume that's where you're watching most of the games too. And then it's 100%. Like, oh, that guy got the ball.
100%.
Yeah.
And it's cool because I'm like, I'll be watching. For instance, I'll be watching a Griz game, right? I'm obviously watching the O-line, and I'll be cheering before it's like it looked like a handoff to Eli, and I'd be cheering. I'm like, oh yeah, it's gonna happen, and then right there, I mean, I can see that. You can see the hole develop. You can see a reach block. You can see the climb to second level. You can see a tight end insert through the hole, and you're like, oh yeah, this is gonna be a big game. Yep. Bang!
There it goes.
It's cool.
Yeah.
So with that being said, it's kind of hard to watch as a fan. I can't. It's almost stressful because I almost feel like I gotta break down what everyone's doing just because that's the muscle that I've been trained to work with for so many years at this point.
You know these guys so well too. You're a year out. Do you like watch it and you're like, what are you doing? Like, what are you like? Yeah. Do you get like frustrated and like start yelling or something, or like?
I mean, sometimes. I mean, that's just how it happens. It's just like it's just like little things, right? It's just like, oh man, if you just put your head on the other side, you just keep your feet moving. It's right there. But I don't know. I mean, if you talk to any of my teammates, hopefully they would say that I was demanding, but I was positive, right? I hate when guys are on a sideline and they just can I cuss on here? I don't know.
Yeah, you're fine.
And they just bitch and they moan, and it's just like that gives nothing. Like, I'll get fired up, right? Like, but it'll be like, hey, we can do this. Like, we can, it'd be stuff like that. But I can't stand when guys are negative on the sideline.
Yeah, the negativity, man, it just drives me up the freaking wall. Like what you're speaking of, we call it like radical candor, where it's challenged personally or care personally and challenged directly. I've got it written above me. That's what I was looking up because I always try to look at that and stuff. I use it for work, and it's like care personally, challenge directly, and like no one can fault you if you're going to do that because it's like you're pushing people hard and you're same expectation out of yourself onto them. So I love hearing that.
Oh yeah. I mean, I held myself to a high standard when I was playing, and so if I saw somebody on the team that was, again, I'm not trying to be like that guy type, but like it just in my head, I was like. I held myself to such a high standard that if I saw someone that wasn't also trying to be the best that they could be, because let's be real, like I know I'm not the best. Right. I'm not the best athlete. My genetics are limited, right? But I tried to make up for that by being a student of the game, by doing whatever I could in the weight room, doing all the little things, right? Yeah. And I would see guys, maybe not on the team, off the team, whatever. I would see guys that are so genetically gifted and that they've been given so much by God,
right?
And they don't use it, and that drives me insane. It really does. That's probably one of my biggest pet peeves as a player is when you don't take advantage of the gifts that you've been given you.
Have a little bit of heart, a little more effort, and take those and look what you could because you could see the potential. Or if they just that little bit, man, oh my God, you'd be there. Yeah, it's like you'd be right there.
I'm getting fired up.
Yeah.
Calm down.
Well, another question for you is, being that you're down Bellevue right now, if I drive to Omaha a lot for work because you're right by
Okay.
Omaha.
Yeah.
It's part of our area and stuff. Well, speaking of that, you're only about 3.5 hours from Brookings. Are you going up this weekend?
I think so. I think I'm going.
Well, I'll see you there. I'm going too. I'm in Rapid City right now, so it's about
beautiful.
5 hours for me. So yeah,
I think we're going
over there.
I mean, if it's not going to be like last year when it was like -20.
No, I just looked 41.
Hey,
heck yeah,
that's a heat wave.
Yeah, it's like a 2 o'clock. It's like a 2 o'clock game too, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's 1 p.m.
1 p.m.
Time zones, whatever.
Yeah. Noon Montana time.
Yeah,
it's 1 p.m. Heck yeah, I'm going.
Very cool. Well,
nice.
Maybe I'll run into you up there because we're bringing the family over too. Have you been into the other games this year since you?
So I came back, man. You guys should see the prices for flights from Omaha to Missoula. It's insane. It's bad. It's bad.
You have to go through Denver, I think, to get there. Probably
we do. Yeah. But me and the family, we went back for the season opener against Missouri State. That's when we had all the guys came back that are on the team.
You guys all got your rings and stuff
for the ring ceremony. Yeah. That's the only game that I've been to thus far. Hopefully I can get up to Brookings on Saturday. That'd be cool. But
the tickets are super cheap. I bought mine today. They're $10 a ticket. I was like,
are you serious?
Yeah.
$10.
Like their website says that there's not many tickets left, and as soon as just so for all Griz fans, you click onto the website then and say tickets. There's actually the whole like visitor section. There's a ton of tickets available. Like I think I'm in like section 122, 6 rows up, and they were me and my wife and my daughter was $35 with fees. I was like,
beautiful.
That's like
wow,
not even a ticket to the home game for the
Griz.
It's super cheap.
Beautiful.
So, there's tons of tickets. So yeah.
That is nuts. And when it being nice too, like
I know. When I saw the weather, I was expecting.
Nice.
Usually Brookings the wind is blowing and it's like -10, and no, 41 degrees and like partly cloudy. I'm like, geez, this is
beautiful.
It's gonna be great football weather. So,
oh man,
we're shorts. So, there's gonna be some guys in shorts or something, or shirtless guys.
Shirtless, and the suspenders.
Yeah.
Well, you want to get into some Tennessee State? The win? Did you watch that game?
Okay. Well, so funny enough, the game was when all the book orders were coming through. So I watched as much as I could.
There you go.
That was like the only game that I wasn't totally dialed into. Literally, I mean, shoot, you can ask my wife. I was over at the kitchen table and I was trying to fulfill orders while Eli rips off a 59-yard touchdown run. And junior two-point returns. I mean that game was insane.
Yeah.
But yes, I did end up watching it.
Yeah. So, the first quarter, the O-line it kind of was like a feeling out process in that first quarter, right? So 3-3 at the end of that first quarter. It wasn't getting a lot of push. And so what I thought is they put Finoti in, kind of change it up a little bit, and then that gets Gilman going, and that push just started happening. What did you guys see?
Go ahead, AJ, man.
Okay. Yeah. No. So I mean, just from my end of it, when you get into the playoffs, I mean, you're going to face some really good defensive lines. If you're not a good defensive line in the playoffs, I mean, you're going to get smoked. But I mean, they're big. I mean, look at the two. You look at the 2D tackles. I mean, they were big games, man. But I mean, that's the thing with those kind of guys, though, is at the first quarter, first couple drives, you hit them and you're like, oh my god, like this is a heavy dude. But as the game, and I think as you guys also saw, as the game went on, especially in the second quarter, I think that push was starting to move. And I think that's a testament to the guys up front. I mean, that's Brandon, that's Kay, that's Journey, that's Cannon, that's Liam, that's everybody that was going in, and that's a testament to their conditioning.
I think you're right.
I thought as the game progressed, they got more push, which is usually how it's going to go. You're not going to knock off. If you knock off a guy 10 yards off the ball in the first play, I mean, you're you're a stud. So that's usually how I see it.
Because they're just as fired up to play. And like you were saying, do you notice that one of the big D tackles, they tried running him in, late. He got in, he did one play. He was going, "Get me out. Get me out." I was like, oh man, he's gassed. I was like,
he's like 6'4", 335.
Like,
yeah, he's a big boy.
But I was thinking, like, because they're showing him tap his head, but I was thinking about our offensive line. If I turned around out of the huddle and see the guy going like this, I'd be going, "Oh yeah, run it behind me right now."
So the crazy thing, there were on that play that you're talking about, where he was tapping out, and then he jogged off, and then he had to jog back on because they were about to run the play. I was like, "Snap it, snap it, snap it, snap it." And then of course he like gets into the play as soon as the ball is snapped, and he gets in the backfield and he makes a TFO. I was like, I was like, oh my gosh. But I mean, that never works out for anybody.
That never works
out. Well, it reminded me of the guy that we played in UC Davis.
Yeah, that was a big boy.
375.
375, yeah.
He was 5'10", 375, and I'm like,
was that 75?
Yeah.
Yeah. Holy cow.
I had a nice little, I put him on his back a couple times.
Did you really?
Last year, yeah.
Oh, nice.
Couple pancakes in that big boy.
Oh, yeah.
That's
you hit that guy and you just like bounce off.
And to be fair to him, he's gotten a lot better than he was last year. But testament to him, he's a good player.
That's awesome.
He's a big
awesome.
dude.
So going just kind of down the line, we didn't have Osmo. Hopefully he gets healed up and ready to go for this next one. But Fenoti really looked really well. Stevie Rocker had some good runs there. And then Gilman just took it. He's so patient. That one that he ripped off, just waiting for the hole to open up. He reminds me of Javon Bell from Michigan State that played for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Just kind of behind the line, kind of waiting for those holes to open. And then just when he does, I loved how he just threw that guy, just threw him over and just like, get out of my way, and just ran.
Well, then after that, you see Racanelli making the blocks downfield for. That's what I love about our team, man. No one stops.
Sawyer is probably the most underrated aspect of that offense.
Yeah,
I mean, you just look at 9 on any specific play. There have been so many plays this year where it's been it feels like every long play, every long run, every long pass, Sawyer is right there leading the way down the field. Yeah. I mean, that dude works his butt off.
Yeah,
I mean, I saw him working through that serious knee injury he had when he got here. Here, I'm in Bellevue. When he got to Montana,
we know what you meant.
When he got, I mean, I saw him work his butt off to get back from that, and I think he's he's taking advantage of the opportunity that he's given now. He's made a couple great one-handed catches. I mean, but he is one of the most underrated players on that offense, I think.
That's why I was so excited to find out he's going to come back next year. Like that's that's huge for our. I mean, just because we're losing so many receivers this year, I think it's huge for that room to have that leadership. And then you see his leadership on the field because the effort he puts in out there. Like it's just, I mean, that shit's contagious in that in a room.
Heck yeah.
So that's huge. So yeah.
Well, and just as his role, like as a role model in his leadership, that's just only going to help those young guys like Kells and Davis and stuff like that. So, it's going to be awesome. So,
you're talking about Eli. What he reminds me of is Walter Payton.
Like, there you go.
Like, I mean, that's
good.
That's a good one to.
It is, but he reminds me of Sweetness the way he's patient and looks at the hole.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like that. There's so many guys that aren't patient and hit it too fast and are outrunning their blocks. And like as a lineman, that's frustrating. You're like, no, wait, let me get to my level.
I'm almost there.
Yeah, where he's patient. I mean, even you see him put his hand on the back at times and just it's so like he runs so smart, and that's what I love about it. I think that's why at times fans are frustrated why he's not getting 20 carries a game. They're like, man, give that dude the ball and stuff. But then the same time, like what Adam, you were just saying, I think sometimes that change of pace helps too in the game.
Yep.
So
because
go ahead, Adam.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I think all of our backs are incredibly patient. I mean, when Nick, I think Nick is probably the best guy. Slow to fast through. When you're talking about hitting the gap. I mean, I don't think people know. Like he was like when I was there, he was top 3 fastest guy on the team.
Yeah.
Like, during the summer when we would time our sprints and everything, he was top 3, top 4 fastest guy on the team.
Crazy.
And so watching him and Eli and this Finoti kid, obviously I haven't met him before, but when you rush for what, like 200 yards and a half back in the back against Morehead State, we have a great group of backs. I'm stating the obvious there, but I think all of them, and I think that's a part testament to Coach Green, who's been there for a long time. Man, I love that guy. He's awesome. But I think that's a testament to him and that running back group working together with the O-line, because I think all of them have great patience. And as soon as that hole opens, you just need 18 inches of daylight.
18 inches of daylight, yeah.
And Gilman is like that too, where you just think he needs those repetitions, because it feels like he needs those repetitions to kind of get into that groove where he gets a hole and he gets going, then you're dead. He's gonna just keep on racking up those long runs, which he did this game. It'll be interesting to see what happens next game.
Yeah, because he went over 2,000 yards.
Yeah,
for the career, and over 1,000.
Yeah,
10,000 for this season too. So that's, he's on pace to catch my boy Yo.
Yep.
Yo's got 4,000, over his career, and it's like, oh boy, he's coming for him. So
crazy. Well, and I think the touchdowns too. He's high up in the touchdown marks too, because he's got over 28.
I think he's 5th now.
Yeah, that's crazy. Just 2 years.
It's cool.
Yeah,
that's cool.
It was crazy.
When he came in his true freshman year, everyone knew that he was going to be special.
Yeah.
He looked like a grown man. You look at him right now, he looks like he's 30.
Yeah, he was. He reminds me of Walter with his little mustache.
Yes,
up there, all
awesome,
ripped. It's just like, oh boy.
Awesome. Yeah. No, he's a special player, man. He really is. He's such a good dude too. When he came for his recruiting visit, I was the one that got in hindsight, got the pleasure to show Eli Gilman around. Right. But ever since, at that point, I was like, oh yeah, this guy, he's a cool dude. He's a specimen. 2%, 0% body fat on the guy. He's awesome. I love that kid.
That's cool. That's great to hear.
Well, and also in that game, you kind of saw some of the young talent in Kels, right? Got a couple passes going deep.
I still say that was a damn catch.
That was. If they called the Tennessee State guy that caught that other one that went out of bounds like that a catch, I have no clue why that other one was not a catch. It came down, it moved a little bit. He still had his arm underneath it. It didn't come out.
Yeah, we looked at it at QB Club tonight, and I know we're not talking about QB Club, but it was everybody's seen it, and Bobby was like, "You tell me how this isn't a catch."
Oh man,
it's like, yeah,
that's a great coach out impression right there.
I was yelling.
I can see it. I can see it.
I was yelling at my TV then. My kids were asleep. That was before I pulled my hamstring after jumping out of the away from the dog. I literally, my dog, she's a Newfoundland Pyrenees, huge dog. So I get excited because, Bergen's running one back and she starts coming off the couch and jumping on me, and she goes around and I'm still jumping up and she walks right by me and I hurdle her, come down, and I feel this pop and I'm like, oh. And she gets back on the couch, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, that was not good." So, battle wounds, right? I'm not an athlete.
Speaking of Bergen, I got a question for you, AJ. So, obviously, you're getting ready. When Bergen's out there for punt return, you're all getting ready to go on the field for offense. Yeah. Now, are you paying attention to the coach, or is everybody looking because he's catching the ball? And is he gonna,
Most of the time, everybody's looking, including the coaches. most of the time,
what happens here? You might not be going out there right away.
Well, literally, you're sitting there and you're watching, and you're getting ready, you're getting juiced up for the next drive, and you see Bergen Jr. You see him catch the ball, and you see 7 yards of separation. You're like, oh yeah, we got a chance here.
Right.
and then you go. Most of the time, even if it wasn't a touchdown, I'd be jogging, 30, 40 yards the other way, which is nice for me. It's great for us. Shorter field position, don't have to be out on the field as long. You usually score when you're in that position too. So yeah, it's not. I mean, it's nice. It's the same thing with Malik.
Yeah.
It was the same thing with him.
Yeah, Malik.
Same thing with him. I mean, you see him. There was a full expectation that he's taking it back.
Right.
So it's been nice for me to have the pleasure of having those two guys.
I was texting some people earlier today, and it's been fortunate over the years. Just think about all the good returners we had. Starting back like Evander Seegers, you got Colt, and then you got like Mark, and then like you said, Malik, and then you got Junior. I mean, it's like Jerry Lou McGee was. I mean, it's like you got all these guys over the years. It's just, and I think the testament of that is it's like, we got good returners, but it's also everybody else out there wanting it so bad and doing their jobs and getting things set up and making those plays and stuff and those blocks. I think those guys are the first guys that would say that. Like, it's not just me; it's these guys all doing their job to make this work. So,
no, I mean, I've never seen. I've been a part of 2 programs now in college. I mean, and I've had buddies around the country, and we've talked about how our practices look. I've never seen a practice with so much emphasis on special teams that like Coach Houck does. And I genuinely think he's probably the best special teams coach in the country. I mean, he takes incessant pride in how that special teams unit does, and in all 4 phases: kickoff, return, punt return, field goal. But those guys practice hard, and really, I mean, when you think about it, those are opportunities for guys that aren't on offense, aren't on defense. Those are opportunities for those guys to go out there and make a play, be able to have a role on a team that is continuously, in contention for the national championship. So I think I think it's awesome.
That's why I was so bummed when I saw Isaiah get hurt, because like he's been such a leader out there on special teams. I was just bummed to see that happen to him. So I mean, like, talk about selfless. Like,
exactly.
We were talking to all the running backs, and he's like, "Okay, what do I need to do?
Linebacker.
How can I help my team? I'll play linebacker." Yeah, exactly. It's like, and I think I think a lot of fans don't realize is how many players we have like that in Griz football that are willing to make changes and play new positions and do different things just to help the team and make everybody better. And I mean, they don't get all the highlights and stuff and all their names called, but man, it's all those people coming together that actually make our team so good, I think, over the years. So
100%.
So let's talk, that second quarter, 27-6, and then we start turning over the ball a little bit with 2 fumbles. The one that Gilman fumbled, I didn't know if that was, from the looks of it, it looked like Ayat was trying to pull it back or something like that because it was a run pass option. It looked like. I didn't know if he got hit or if it was one of those RPOs. What did you guys see on that?
I mean, it just kind of looked like a fluke.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think KLE had really any intention of pulling it to throw a pass.
Yeah,
it looked like everyone was trying to. Yeah. I think it was just a fluke. I don't think there was a whole lot behind that.
Okay. Yeah. So those turnovers really killed us. They started getting some momentum. The QB switch, and that's probably going to get a lot of attention this week. Who's going to be playing QB with Fife getting sat down? Have you ever seen that, AJ? Like, I know you probably have with playing for the Griz, but and probably other sports as well. But in a playoff game, have you seen that happen?
I mean, in terms of the 2 quarterback deal,
or just getting pulled too, pulling your starter like that.
Well, I mean, we kind of saw a similar situation last year when we had Sam and Cliff going back and forth over a few weeks. I mean, I really haven't seen it in the games I've watched in playoffs, but you have to understand, like, what is it called? There is a high. I'm fumbling right
expectation.
now. The ultimate expectation on offense is to make sure that you still have the ball, right? I mean, turnovers are a killer,
right,
on offense, right? And Coach Houck preaches preaches the
Yep.
ball security. I mean, you would start every day and practice with ball security drills. And it's tough when you're in a situation with Logan, who's been playing so well, and then he has 2 fumbles in the game, and it's hard for that's just a hard situation to deal with. I'm not the coach. I'm not going to be the one saying he should or shouldn't have stayed in the game or whatever. But it's tough to see. I mean, I expected it, honestly.
Yeah.
After the second fumble, I was like, okay, Kaylee's probably going to come back in now.
Yeah.
So
you know what it felt like to me, and this is a different sport, but like in hockey, you got 2 good goalies, and like you got your starting goalie, and all of a sudden he lets 3 go by, and you're just like, they're getting in that almost a funk, and they're like, all right, just pull him with the next guy and let's see if what he can do. And that's almost what it felt like to me, like in a hockey coach pulling the goalie, because again, and we know how Coach Houck feels about fumbles. I mean, Chase Reynolds has gotten benched before because he fumbled. Anything like it
can't be a known fumbler.
Yeah,
known fumbler is one of the worst things to be known as.
Yeah, exactly. You don't get to play. Coach Houck system.
That's just how it is.
Yeah. But I think everybody knows that expectation. So,
commandment was the word I was looking for, by the way.
Commandment. There you go.
Ball security.
Also reminds me of like the guy that would be like the programmer. He's like, if anybody else returns this ball but you, you wish you'd never born. Like that. I picture like him being like getting that from James Conn and being like, yep, that's what's gonna happen. This is that's just his mentality to me as far as fumbling goes. So
the atmosphere, even though less than 50% out there was giving them fits with the line, which is awesome to see with Griz Nation supporting the team.
Did you guys see Eddie George said that? Like he was like, I can't imagine what it'd be like if this thing was full, because he was saying how loud it was with the 14,000. Again, it's the 14,000 of the craziest people that are there. So I thought that was pretty cool. The props Eddie George gave out and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Well, and to actually the coach be Eddie George. Like I bet you everybody was like flocking to him at the end of the game.
All the players coming up and shaking his hand. They even said on ESPN, "Look at all the Montana." I would
have too.
I'm gonna go shake hands with the Heisman Trophy winner, Eddie George. This is cool.
That's awesome.
Cool. That's why I thought like afterwards they're doing the pressers and stuff. The fact that he said that to Junior, like, can't wait to see in the NFL. Like the confidence that's got to give to Junior, and like make you feel good. I mean, to have former Heisman Trophy winner, NFL running back say that to you, and then the comments he made about Eli too. Like, I know a good running back when I see. I mean, that's just got to be. Those are those awards you get that there's no trophy for it, but just fires you up even more to play harder and do your best out there. So very cool.
So going from that game, what were your guys' takeaways? Luke, what were your takeaways from the end of the game? We pull out a up and down kind of game, but we beat them by 14 points, 41-27 at the end of the game. What were your?
Well, I think defensively we still continue to progress. Like, it's since that Weber game, we just are constantly, I feel like, doing better on defense, and we're, I think they've taken, and run more zone and stuff out there. But even like our defensive line, like Mason out there, that kid's a freshman. He's starting to make plays, and we're seeing guys develop and get better. And, it's nice to see in the playoffs that we're actually, I tell you what, early in the season, I was really worried about our defense. Like, I was like, we're going to have to boat race everybody. And we're not. Like, they're giving us a chance every game, which is awesome. So, I don't know. I was so jacked up about Junior running 2-back again in the playoffs. I'm just like, how does this happen? Like, it's so cool. Like, it's just, like you said, I'm jumping up, down. So AJ, when I watch the games, I don't sit down. I stand the whole game. Yeah, I hit base, and it's like, my family's just like, if I sat down, they thought something was wrong. So when that's happening, I'm jumping up and down and hollering, and it's just, I don't know. I think I feel better now after this game about our chances this weekend, actually. And then Stu, I wish I could talk about QB Club, but some of the stuff I saw tonight, I feel a little bit better. too about it. So
yeah,
that's all I'll say. So yeah.
Oh man. Well, you guys want to talk about some South Dakota State? I almost said San Diego State. Sorry.
Don't be like them stupid broadcasters.
I know, right? I know.
Oh my God.
I'll tell you what drives me nuts too is that Jay or whoever was calling our games from ESPN who called Montana State a few times.
Yeah.
Not Cone. No, I'm talking about the ESPN broadcast.
Oh.
He called us Montana State a few times.
Did he really? I didn't even catch that.
He's supposed to be one of the FCS guys, and he
twice.
Yeah.
Wow. Twice.
Driving me nuts. It's like, dude, come on. And the other guy was correcting him. So and did you guys feel like they were talking like I know that they have to kind of split it, but man, every time Tennessee State did something, the praise train, like they're all praising Eddie George, but learn the coach's name too. He kept saying Coach Hoke
or Hawk. Yeah.
Man,
come on, man, do a little research.
I was gonna be honest. I don't know how much research that these guys do for these games. I mean, I know some broadcasters are like do it on like 2 days notice or whatever. Like, come on!
Like you felt like you just showed up to call the game, and that was it. Like,
yes, I mean, it happens. It feels like it happens every year.
Yeah,
you know, like I mean, you got to get the head coach's name right. You got to get the school right.
Right.
And if you're gonna call it by the wrong name, don't call it.
Don't call it the
rivals. Yeah.
No.
Man, that pissed me off.
Yeah.
Well, South Dakota State rematch. How does this feel for you, AJ? Because you play these guys in the national championship game. Seeing them again with your alma mater, like, I know you probably wish you could go back out there and do it again. But how was that championship game like? And what can these guys take from that game? The teams aren't the same, especially on offense. The Jackrabbits have lost a lot. They lost, I think, like 8 guys on the offensive side of the ball. What was that championship game like?
I mean, obviously, we would have liked it to go the other way.
Right.
But no, it was, I mean, shoot, what was it? I think it was 10-3. We were losing 10-3 at halftime.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a great, that whole week, it was a great experience. I mean, that's something that you work for your whole career to get the chance to compete for national championship. So again, I was super thankful for that. But we knew who we were going up against. And I mean, they had a good team. We had a good team, and we were just duking it out. Watching them, like you said, they're different teams now. But I'm in the middle of Jackrabbit country right now. I mean, I got friends and neighbors that are. I walked by a South Dakota State banner earlier today, just going to the store, and I about ripped it down.
What's wild about that is it's actually you're gonna have more Jackrabbit fans down in your area by Bellevue and Omaha than are in western South Dakota where I'm at. Like
really
out here, like you get across the river and people don't care as much. You have a few people out here, but it's more their D2 schools that are out here that they pay attention to. It's in east and west. It's wwild. Whereas you get over there, you got USD, Jacks, the Bison, and then the Fighting Sioux or whatever up there, and then of course there's Husker football, which is just everybody's bonkers about too. So, but that's interesting. Like that you see it so much down there, and I'm not up here. So,
that's cool. That's funny.
Like the thing I was hoping with is Gronowski. Like I thought he'd leave, and
I thought he was going to Northwestern with his offensive line or OC. So.
Yeah, I thought he would. If anybody was going to leave, he might. And I thought it was cool that he didn't. Like, I appreciate that when players stay and not hit the transfer portal. But that's the one guy I guess I'm worried about. Is just he's a damn good quarterback.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think he's got the chance to beat or tie Kellen Moore's all-time win record.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I think so.
It's up there.
Yeah, I think 50 is the number. I think 50's the number. He has a chance. Hopefully he doesn't, because I hope his career. I hope his career ends on Saturday.
What an opportunity do we have to stop that record from happening?
I know, right?
I know, no kidding.
And that whole team, it just like they don't make mistakes, and you know when they do, it doesn't seem like it always bites them in the butt, but the quarterback especially. He's so dialed in. They take their spots of where to kill you at. That he just gets it out to his playmakers. But he can also bite you. You know, if you try to rush him and try to get under his skin, he can kill you with running. It's just like, how do you? Because like with us, like how do you kind of do a balance of we have to get pressure on him to make him feel uncomfortable, but you don't want to overdo that because then you're going to have him just run wild on you. But you have to get pressure on him to help that backside of that defense so that your cornerbacks and your DBs are just not out there swimming.
Yeah, and I think Luke can speak on this too. Like in terms of pass rushing, I mean, you have to be disciplined in your lanes, and it can be difficult sometimes. When you're in the 3-3-5. When you're not lined up in your gap, it can be difficult to stay in those pass rushing lanes. But that's the best. That's really the best way to go about it. Is you don't lose contain. If you're gonna spill, if you're gonna spill a guy out one way or another, spill him out into where you load a zone. Right. You don't want to you just don't want to send him out into open space. Yeah. I mean, and when you look at that, the Griz defense it's been I don't want to say it's been the same since I was there, but it's similar, and it's a lot of zone pressures. It's a lot of droppers. I mean, you drop a nose, you drop a DN, whatever you want to do. But so from that standpoint, from a pass rush standpoint, that's the best way to go about it to get pressure. Because I think we have the talent. I mean, obviously you have Riley, right? I think Hayden's been awesome this year. Yeah, he's been an insane playmaker. I'm surprised he wasn't first team all conference, but I was
surprised too. Like that,
I got some gripes with the whole all conference thing.
Yeah.
I don't like. Whatever. I don't know how I can be a Walter Camp first team All American and be second team All Conference. Yeah, anyway, that's all.
Never makes any sense to me.
No, it doesn't.
Whatever. Yeah. But I think that's the best way to go about it from a pass rushing standpoint, because you don't want to just keep a spy on him the whole time, because then you lose a guy in coverage. Right. So I mean that's a balance that they're gonna have to figure out.
If we can do like what the Bison did against him this year, where they were putting a lot of pressure and hitting him, like making him uncomfortable back there. That's the key. If he has the time just to sit there and get his reads and stuff, we're in trouble. Yeah. Where if we can, make him uncomfortable, make him feel rushed, that's going to be our biggest key there, just to do that. But, the other side of the ball, I'm a little worried about too, because their defense, their two linebackers,
oh my gosh,
32 and 9. They were there last.
32 is a good player.
Yeah,
32 is a good player, man.
Bach or whatever his name is.
He's a good player.
Yeah,
do they have the same defensive coordinator that they did last year?
I believe so. Yeah.
I mean, so they don't do a lot. They base out of you can call it a 3-4, you can call it a 4-2-5, because they play with that nickel out there. But I mean, they don't do a lot, but they're really good at what they do.
Right.
The South Dakota State and North Dakota State, those two defenses are very similar.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with Bozeman. I mean, all those defenses are very similar. They do very similar things.
Yeah.
I mean, what they're going to do is they're going to figure out different ways to load the box, whether that be a safety coming down, whether that's spiking a nickel into the box. They're going to figure out, especially with our run game, they're going to figure out different ways to try to load the box. And it's going to be up to us to be able to decipher that. I think that's where the RPO game comes in. We saw a lot of RPO at the beginning of the season. I haven't seen a lot of it as the season has gone on, but I think that's a great opportunity to start using it again.
Yeah.
You're going to see a 4-man front. You're going to see 2 linebackers. They're going to figure out different ways to keep the offensive line at the first level and let those guys run free, especially Bach. I mean, he's like I said, he's a really good player. But I think that's how they're going to do it. They're going to try to make us throw. They're going to have to make us throw the football.
Their defensive line has been a whole lot better this year than I thought last year. Last year they really didn't have a pressure on their defensive line. This year they've got some really good guys on that defensive line that do get some pressure. And I think I saw it with Missouri State, where they didn't really even have to bring pressure from their linebacker positions, because their forward front was getting enough pressure on those guys where they could just leave them back. So it was crazy. So
yeah, that's against like North Dakota State. I saw them like opening up holes for Bach to run through and just
Yeah, and they did it to us in the national championship game. They would figure out which side the back is on. They would slant guys. They would slant guys to the back and then bring Bach opposite of the back, and that's how they would free him up.
Exactly what they did a bunch against North Dakota State. And but why would you change anything? They're back-to-back national champions. It's so that's I think one advantage we have kind of going in. It's like all the study you guys did last year going into it. It's not that much different, other than there's a few, chess pieces.
Personnel is what it is.
Yeah, the personnel is different, but as far as like their scheme and stuff, there's no reason for them to change anything because it's been working. So like on that side, I feel like we have a little bit of an advantage, just because it's going to be very similar.
One guy that I think that is going to, and I hope they use him the right way, Grossman. They didn't get to see him last year.
No,
if they can use him in the best way possible and just kind of let him go out and do what he does, I really think he could be a piece where they're not expecting that. Because of what he brings.
Yeah, I mean Cole. He's an insane athlete. I'm not breaking any news by saying that, but that'd be an interesting matchup to look at and see how Coach Pease uses him in this game.
Well, make one of those linebackers have to guard him and take one of those linebackers out of the way.
We said a lot of that same stuff going into the rivalry game. We're like, hey, we have nothing to lose here. Like, open it up. And I feel like we couldn't at times, but like, I think, I'm really hopeful that with some of the stuff we saw last week, just like bringing in extra players, like Bridges, like, man, he was there. Like we hit that ball. Like he's got that step to get on people and stuff. And so I'd love to see us go downfield and just try some of that stuff. Cause I think if we can do that too, go downfield, that'll make it so they won't load the box as much. Like our passing game could help open up our run game. Because if we can't pass, like AJ said, they're going to load that box. We're going to have 8 in the box like all the time. And I don't care who you are, you're outnumbered. That's hard to run the freaking ball, even if you're coming to the next level and stuff. It's just hard to run the ball that way. So,
one thing that I saw on film of them, one of the things that you have to do is stop them on first down. Make their second down longer. If you're letting them have 5 or 6 yards of run, you're going to be putting yourself behind the 8 ball, and it's just going to be a long day. Definitely with the 3-headed monster of running backs that they have there, it's crazy.
Similar to us, like they keep loading on running backs. It's like just every year they get. I don't know where they're pulling these running backs from, but it's like holy fuck, man.
Well, and all of them have different kind of abilities too.
Between that and offensive defensive linemen, I'm just I think all of our schools, like between Montana, the neighbors, and both Dakota schools, like we just keep finding these, guys like yourself, AJ, that may have not had the right straight path to the Griz, but we were sure happy that you showed up and we're playing. It's like how we're finding these guys and they're finding these guys year after year. It just amazes me and stuff. And so that's, I don't know, that's if we can win up front, that's the key. I mean, any game, you win up front, you're going to win the game. So that's what we got to do. So,
and I think from the standpoint of getting the defense targeted, like we were talking about with Cade, I don't know if they've changed a whole lot. It looks like Cade's kind of doing similar things to what I had to do last year. It's what's nice about going up against this kind of defense where they don't change the picture a whole lot,
right?
Is it gives you a consistent target, right? So I mean, if they sit in the 4-2 box against 11 personnel with a kind of a nickel hanging out over here in the to the field, I mean it's going to be easy to target at that point. It's just about going to play. Right. I mean, you go up against a defense like ours, the 3 feet, the way that we play 3-3-5. That's hard to target,
right?
Because you're getting so many looks. People are moving so many different ways. But when you get a consistent defensive picture, that allows you to get targeted and allows you to go play football, which is going to be nice.
It reminds me like when Gubbs was a freshman, he was leading our team in interceptions. I think at one point it was like our defensive
I think he led the conference.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's like what? That just shows you how like strange and like you said, complicated that defense is. And that's one thing I've heard from like other former players after they got done playing that defense was just like how complex it is. But once you get it, like holy cow, it can be super effective and dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's why like it's a copycat sport. If you look all of a sudden across like FBS and other FCS, we're seeing more and more of this 3-3-5. Or guys, teams trying it out and stuff. Where when it first came, it was like Rocky Long and Bobby Houck are the two guys doing this thing. So
this year I've seen like more teams that we've played have played that 3-3-5. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's cool too because there's still nobody that runs it like we do.
Right.
Yeah.
Like the one team that I remember distinctly was TCU 2 years ago when they were playing for the national. They were playing that national championship season. Yeah. I mean, they would sit in 3 down. They wouldn't bring anybody. They would try to clog up gaps with the 3 guys up front, and then they'll have 3 guys behind them roaming. And I'm just like why? Why wouldn't you try to? Yeah. No. So I think it's still cool that there's really nobody that's running it like we do, and I think that gives us an advantage. Like I said, I can't imagine trying to be like an O-line coach or a run game coordinator or a player and try to look at the defense and be like, I mean, we got like 4.5 days to figure this out.
Right. Yeah. Well, it's complicated when you got other like FBS big time schools coming to Missoula to go, hey, how do you run this stuff? It's like, what? Alabama's coming here to ask this question, and the TCU, it's like, whoa, that's pretty impressive. So,
So what do we have to do? We have to match them on the O line and win that matchup. You think they're gonna punt to Bergen to Junior?
Would you?
I wouldn't, but people keep on doing it, and they still have that. I think his name's Dustman. I think it's Dustman, their punter and their kicker and their field goal kicker from last year, and he did a really good job of not allowing Bergen to get going. I don't expect them to punt to him. I hope they do.
I think it's situational though. Like for instance, when TSU, Tennessee State is backed up in the end zone, you kind of don't have a choice because like you either shank it out of bounds or you just try to punt the hell out of it because you're backed up there. And I think if we can hold them to short fields like that and all of a sudden they have to punt, that's when Junior gets his chance because, they're forced to kind of kick it deep or, the punter's nervous because they're kicking out of their end zone and they may overkick their coverage. And you make that one little mistake and Junior set up and all of a sudden our blockers have time to get in position, watch out. Yeah. So that's where I think like if they're punting from their own 40, he's not going to get a chance. But if we can get him backed up somehow and force him to punt, then watch out. I mean, how cool would it be for him to get just one more? Like,
and I
think he's by himself for the NCAA record.
No, he's not. They came out that he's actually one behind.
Oh, he's one behind.
Yeah.
Oh shoot! I thought he tied the NCAA.
The guy from Washington.
He tied the FCS record.
He tied the FCS, but the Division I, a guy from Washington has 9.
Dante Pettis.
Yeah.
Pettis. Okay. Well, it's not too much to ask for Junior to have 2 in this game, is it?
Well, hey, if we win this game, he's got 1 more.
I mean, he's good at doing 2 in playoff games. It's like kind of his thing. So
more than half of his,
be more than happy to do it.
More than half of them
he has the opportunity
in the playoffs. So. Oh man. Other things that we want to see, the stats or keys of the game, guys. And we don't want to stop the run, right? Or at least limit them to be able to have to throw it because they don't have those twins over there now.
And they're tight ends.
Yeah. I mean, I think the one thing that I've seen over the course of the year is just our defense's ability just to be able to run, fit, power, and counter. And I mean, I don't know if they talked about it at quarterback club or anything, but being able to fit those 2 schemes, which are 2 schemes that South Dakota State runs all the time.
Yeah.
It's hurt us in the past. Just during the season is being able to fit power and counter, being able to account for that puller coming around and trying to match that number. Because if you don't, I mean, we've seen it this year where you get gashed. So I think that's going to be a major thing is being able to run fit power and counter. If anyone's trying to figure out a schematic thing to get out of this, that's it, I think.
I agree.
Yeah.
That's where they can beat us. If we can slow that down.
Yep.
You know, I think, and be that bend but don't break defense.
Yep.
That's going to be key. So,
well, and I just think that you get them in a tight game where they haven't been very much. You know, the pressure's on them. You know, they're the 2-time defending national champions at home. You know, they have to prove all that stuff. We don't have anything to prove.
No.
Let's just go make history. Let's make a statement win and let's do this.
We love revenge games too. So
exactly.
You know. Last year we had there was a gal named Jody, and she made up these T-shirts because we kept talking about you all were on the revenge tour last year, and so I've got one of these shirts, and on the back it has the schedule and all the gashes from the games, the revenge games. And stuff. It looks like a concert T-shirt. It's so freaking cool. But
sick.
Yeah, we were kept calling it the revenge tour. On the front, it's got a big Griz pod. It says revenge tour on it.
I love it.
They remind me of the player shirts that you make and stuff when you're playing.
Yeah.
That's what it reminded me of. It's pretty cool. So we got the revenge game this weekend. Let's
big one. It's a big revenge game.
Yeah.
Any last thoughts, guys? And I don't want to take a lot of your time, AJ. And definitely appreciate you coming on, man.
Oh, of course.
So, but any last things, Luke?
No. Do you want to? Don't you see you had some questions for AJ?
Yeah, I have some questions. Let's see if I can get.
Did you want to pick the game real quick first, or what do you want to
do? What's Versus say?
I don't like what Versus says, but you know what? just so AJ knows this, last year when we were doing the pod, we have a Versus app that is a simulator that simulates the games. And there was many games last year that it picked the opposite team, and you guys proved them wrong.
Yeah,
so
beautiful.
That's what we need to do this weekend. But Versus has got South Dakota State beating us 37-12 right now.
37-12.
That's what it's got. Yep.
Oh, what the hell does a computer know anyway?
That's exactly. It's what happens on the field. So here's my choice. Like, I was going back and forth on this, and after watching the North Dakota State game, I actually felt a lot better. Because SDSU's beatable. So I've got the Griz winning 20-17 in a low scoring affair. I think if our defense can step up and our offense just does enough, I think we can win. So that's my pick. Griz 20, South Dakota State 17.
Okay. AJ, do you want to do this, or you're like going to step out?
You know what? I'm gonna tell you guys what I said every Saturday morning during my career. It's Griz by a million. I don't care.
I love it. I love it.
Right. I think this is going to be a low-scoring game. I think the Griz are going to come out on top, 13-10.
Oh wow, love it.
So, I think I really think this coaching staff's saving some stuff. I just really think that they saved some stuff just for this reason, and I think we're going to see it come out. I think it's going to be a grinder. So yeah, I hope we put a whole game, because we have not played a whole game yet this year, and I think that if we put a whole game together, I think the sky's the limit with this team. We could be a great team. And as me, I have no anything in this team. So
well, they're right there. They've been right there every game. So like, there's just all those opportunities where, again, if you put that all 4 quarters together and not make mistakes and just do your job, like do your 111th, man, watch out. Great things can happen. So
exactly. So questions. So Royce Bidwell at MT Griz Rule had a lot of questions here. AJ, how difficult is the offensive line and the offense as a whole to execute with frequent revolving QBs? Thanks for your blood, sweat, and tears. You're appreciated.
Nice. You know, so like I mentioned earlier, kind of went through the same thing last year.
Sam and Cliff, yeah.
Yeah, I think, honestly, the hardest part is the cadence. That's the hardest part, being able to get a consistent cadence. that's tough, especially when you're going back and forth, kind of how we've been this year.
Yeah.
Where regardless of what drive it is, one drive you could have KLE, one drive you can have Logan. So first and foremost, cadence is hard. From an O-line perspective, it becomes difficult when there's different styles of quarterback. I think Logan and KLE are both very similar.
Yeah.
With Sam and Cliff last year, I mean, those were two guys on two different ends of the spectrum.
Right.
You had a freak athlete in Cliff who we were going to run the ball with, and then we had a guy like Sam who could spin it. Who by the way had an awesome year this year.
Amazing.
I mean, I love that man. I mean, I love that guy. I love that guy so much.
I was so pumped to see that he is in the Walter Payton nomination.
Yes, man, that made me so happy. I'm so happy for that. I'm so happy for him, man. But having those two guys on opposite ends of the spectrum, I mean, you can kind of bank on, like, I don't want to say protection doesn't have to be perfect because every play you're trying to do your best to protect the quarterback, but you understand, like, Cliff has the ability to go make plays, in the run game whereas Sam, not rocket arm, but not as gifted running the ball, right? So that doesn't play a whole lot in it, but you can kind of imagine being offensive lineman and being like, all right, ball should be out right about now. Whereas Cliff is like, okay, I mean, I just gotta hang on because who knows where he's gonna end up.
Wherever, like, look, all of a sudden there's Cliff running. Oh shit! And you're just like, I gotta
literally. But cadence is probably number one.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't play with KLE a whole lot. I know him as a person. He's an awesome dude. And I don't know Logan a whole lot because I never played with him. But protections can be an issue sometimes when you don't have a guy who can look at the defense and be able to switch protections. That's what I had to do a lot last year in part because we did have a 2 quarterback.
Yeah.
System.
So you were the quarterback on offensive line and to help protect.
Yeah. It wasn't me all the time, but there were times where I had to turn around and be like, "Hey, Cliff, I mean, we got to go this way, brother." Like, but so that can be an issue sometimes. So and when people complain about offensive line play, like, "Oh, we'll block somebody," or why did we get sacked here? Sometimes it's the O-line's fault and sometimes it's not. Sometimes the defense just had a great call against that protection, against that specific protection. Because if you guys don't know anything about protections, Luke, I'm sure you do. Adam, I don't know. I'm not familiar with your football acumen. Usually you have a slide side and a man side. On the slide side, you got 3 offensive linemen working together to block their gaps, and then on the opposite side, you have the man side where it's basically just one-on-one, right?
Yep.
If that defense can send one more then you can block to that man side or even to the zone side. I mean, there's not a whole lot you can do about that, right? So it's
interesting. People see a guy going free and they're like, "Oh, they missed." It's like, no, sometimes that guy's supposed to go free. Like that's part of the play. So
that's the hot sometimes.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the other thing. So that's the other thing I'm talking about. The quarterback has to understand where he's hot and where he's protected, right? And when you got guys going in back and forth, you as a center specifically, you don't know if he's going to be able to see what you see, and ultimately it's his job to change it. Really, I mean, there were times last year where I just had to override it just because that's what needed to happen, but it's ultimately the quarterback's job to set everyone right because he needs to know where he's hot. Right. If he doesn't know where he's hot, then that's when sacks can happen.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
Well,
great explanation. Thanks.
Royce's other question says, "What needs to be done to have a truly efficient passing game? Do we need to change in philosophy in OC or find different QBs starting in 25? Each one of you pick your choice."
That's way above my pay grade. I mean,
Luke, what do you think?
I'm gonna say neither. Like, we need to keep the QBs we got. Like, they're developing and stuff. Like, they're both close. I feel like they both have. Like, I feel like what AJ was just saying, how Sam and Cliff were so different. KLE and Logan are so close to the
Very
same.
similar.
They just have a little differences and stuff. And so it's just getting that one person. That's why when I saw him and Houck getting into it, I was like, okay, maybe this is that moment where he's just going to take the bull by the horns and lead. I'm like, I'm fine with this. And then it felt like we didn't see that same fire like the last few games. To me, it didn't feel like I saw that, like that wild man. Or I think almost he needs to be a little pissed off to play is the feeling I get. So, but as far as like just ripping everything down and starting over, no, like not at all. Like,
well, and that for your program, that's not sustainable. And we kind of saw that this year with the defensive side of the ball, where we bring in a lot of these transfers, and and AJ, you can attest to this. Running a scheme like a 3-3-5 takes a while to get under. To know it and to get into kind of how things work at Montana, bringing in a guy for 1 year or something like that. It's sure great if they hit, but if they don't hit and you are scrambling to kind of fill that role, you can be setting yourself back a while. And so, I really think, and Marty says this all the time when you listen to Marty, you see some things and it may look like they're far away in getting things straightened out, but they might be just a little bit here, a little bit there. I really feel like the quarterbacks, if they can go through their progressions a little bit more smoother, and they have the ability to have that trust to take that deep shot, which I think that they've kind of haven't had. I think it all is trust, and just they need more time. Like, I can't imagine being thrown in, thrown out, thrown in, thrown out. It has to play with your confidence.
Well, I think some of the mistakes they've made is because they're trying too hard.
Yeah,
they want to make a play so bad they're forcing stuff, and it's like, slow down a little bit. And that's I worry too sometimes with like Kaylee being young. Like, has the game slowed down for him yet? Like, where he can see, everything, and because they want to win so damn bad. And that's what I tell people. Like, they all want to win so bad that like they're gonna do everything they can, And sometimes it's too much, where you're doing something, you're throwing an errant ball because you thought you could fit it in that window. But I don't want that quarterback that doesn't have that like I can win it, any cost mentality either. So. But as far as like changing OCs, unless AJ wants to come run the Veer-And-Shoot, I think we just stay here. So
no, I mean, it's super easy to look at a game that's not going your way and you're not scoring points and you're like, we just need to scrap the whole thing. But like, fans can't have it both ways, right? You can't complain about not having a quarterback for more than 1 year, and then whenever a quarterback has a bad game, you call for another one.
Right.
You can't have it both. You can't have it both ways. And to that point, I would love for Montana to have the same quarterback 2 straight years, right? Because I played with a different quarterback. Some seasons
every year,
multiple different quarterbacks.
Right.
Yeah.
I had a new one every year, right? And so I would love to see a guy like, is Logan a senior? I can't remember.
He's a junior.
No, he has 1 year left. So
okay, I would love to see. Whether it's the 2 quarterback or whether it's one guy takes the reins. I would love to see the same guys there.
That's what I'd like to see in spring. One of them separate. Like, just if you could get that,
Yeah. And I don't think Coach Houck really cares about the perception of going back and forth between the two. No. I think he just wants to win. And I think whichever guy he believes is going to help him win a game, help the Griz win the game is who he's going to pick. And I think that's part of the reason why Logan got pulled after those 2 fumbles is because fumbling the ball isn't going to help us win the game. Let's go put in Leighlou, who has started games, who has performed well.
Yeah.
But
that's why it felt like hockey to me, where because you'll see that so much where like it could be your best goalie. And, he could have had a shutout the night before, but all of a sudden, if he's letting goals by, they're going to pull him to put the other one in just because it's like, and I think and maybe I'm wrong here, but with Coach Houck, it's like, there's no, we hear this, there's no stars. It's like, you're a part of the whole process. So it's like, if you're screwing up my process, let's try this to see if this helps the process and So that's where I kind of see it. So, and I get it. Like it's,
So last question he has here, it says, best strategy to upset South Dakota State in your opinion? He's got a couple different, so he's got an offense and defense. So number one for the offensive side, run down the clock, play as often, run down the play clock as often as possible, or play hurry up.
I say neither.
I think he's talking about like that Idaho, like what they, that
Like
whole
slow it down.
Yeah.
shorten the game, if you will, and stuff. And you can't. I don't think we can go in and all of a sudden change everything. Like that's not gonna. That's not productive. So
I mean,
South Dakota State does that too. That their plays are 8-9 minute drives. They like to have those types of drives. If you do that too, then you're just, if you don't hit on one of your offensive sides of the ball, then you're screwed.
I mean, what it comes down to is being able to be efficient when you move the ball. If you try to go hurry up and you go 3 and out 4 times, you're not helping yourself. And then if you try to slow down the play clock and you take all the full 25 seconds to get a play off, and then you go 3 and out 3 times in a row, you're not helping. Yeah. So, I mean, I think in terms of tempo, I think our offense is fine. I think it's been fine all year. It's been kind of, you're sitting, we've been right in the middle of the play clock. We're snapping the ball off when we need to get it snapped off. I think it's about being efficient with the ball as opposed to the tempo that you play with. Now, if you're able to be efficient in one way or the other, then you pick whichever one you feel best as an offense to do, right? But it's all about being able to move the ball. It's not about how fast or slow you can move the ball.
I think if we can stay ahead in the chains, like if we can consistently get into like 2nd and 4 or 2nd and 5, holy shit! Like we have a huge chance to win this game.
And then get on the defensive side, do the same thing to them.
Same thing where they're constantly in 2nd and 8, 7, 2nd and 9. That changes everything, So.
Oh, and it changes their playbook drastically, because if you look at South Dakota State, when they get those 2nd 8, 2nd and 9, they do not like that at all. Yeah. They'd rather have that 3rd and 3 and be able to have some type of a run play or hit their tight end.
Yeah.
So his last question is on the defensive side. Same question, but defensive side. Be aggressive in slowing SDSU's running game, or don't gamble as often as they let their offense come to us. Be neutral.
I think we got to go after the quarterback.
You got to.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's been working. What we've been doing lately with the zone, and then getting pressure on the quarterback, especially Gronowski, because of his experience. Like we have to get him in uncomfortable positions. Like that's the best thing we can do there because of his efficiency. So
they don't have as good wide receiving core as they did last year with those twins that they had, Janke twins or whatever. Yankee, there you go. So I think you do exactly what Luke said is you pressure them, but you pick your spots as well, and just stop that run as best as you can. So.
Which we've been stopping the run much better. I mean, we've been doing a dang good job again.
Well, even the rivalry game, for a good portion of that game, they weren't getting what they were getting all year round.
Yeah.
So, Well, AJ, that's all the questions I had. Did you have any, Luke?
No. I mean, shit, it's been a pleasure. Yeah. Actually, I did have one question for you. Because I know, like you wore this. Osman wears it. That little neck piece that has supposed to help.
Oh, the Q collar.
So I noticed you always wore them and stuff. I know a lot of players are wearing them. Tell me more about it. Like, did you notice the difference?
Yeah.
It's supposed to help with concussions and stuff.
Oh yeah. Actually, I think I have it right. Yeah, I have it right here. Let's see here. So it's called the Q collar,
right?
And so I reached out to this company called Q30 that makes these, right? And so what it is you put it around your neck. It's flexible. So put it around your neck, and what it does is it compresses the arteries on the side of your neck, right? And so that it just ever so slightly, right? I mean, it feels like you're wearing a shirt collar.
Sure.
That's
Like
buttoned up all the way. That's kind of what it feels like, right?
Yeah.
So what it does, the science behind it is it compresses the arteries in your veins in your neck just enough to slightly increase the volume of blood in your skull cavity where your brain sits, and by increasing the volume of blood in your head, it reduces the amount of space that your brain can move around in.
Oh, okay.
And like Luke, you'll know. You talk about like football headaches, where it's not really like it's not a concussion, but it's just like, man, like my head fucking hurts. But like when I started, I wore it for 2 years.
Yeah,
and
I noticed.
Like,
I was always curious.
it made a huge difference. Honestly, I didn't think like I was just looking for something to help maybe because again, like I had my future in my brain about talking about head safety and everything, but no, this is awesome. This is really cool. I got made fun of initially for wearing it.
Well, I remember seeing you wear it, and then what I've noticed is that over the last few years, so many more players are wearing it. And so like this year I finally Googled it and was like, oh, that's what it is. I was like, what the heck is this thing? Like,
oh, it's super cool, man.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So what I did is I was the first guy to start wearing one of those. I got made fun of because it's like it's new, it's different, right?
Yeah.
And so people started asking about it in the locker room, and like, hey, why are you wearing that? And can you tell a difference? And I was like, yeah, I can tell a difference. And so the company, they sent me an email. They sent this for free, which is awesome. I was very thankful for that. And NILs, it's good stuff, buddy.
Right.
And so what I did, every guy that asked me about it and wanted one, I just gave them the email, and Q30 would send them a Q collar. A lot of the guys still wear it. Obviously, Riley wears it. Nick wears it. Dylan Botner, I think, still wears it. He's a tackle that comes in a lot. A lot of guys wear it. I can totally feel the difference. I think Eli wears it.
Yeah.
No, I love it. I love it, man. I didn't have any kind of headaches, and my head didn't hurt. You know, it was crazy. You wouldn't think that just a little bit of pressure right there, you wouldn't think it would do a whole lot, but it did.
That's cool. I was so curious about that. So that was the question I wanted to ask you, because like back when I played, it was like we were all wearing neck rolls and stuff, you know.
So and that's what a lot of people thought it was. They thought it was like a neck roll.
Yeah,
man, this ain't helping a whole lot. But no, it was a game changer for me, honestly.
That's awesome. Yeah, hopefully. So cool. And you can definitely see more. They're obviously getting out there, and I'm glad that there's such a focus on brain health and stuff now within the game, because it's important. So you don't. I mean, I have friends that played that have memory issues and stuff because of concussions, and like back then we had neck rolls so we could lead with our heads. Like that was part of it. You'd hurt your neck when you speared people. Like it's ridiculous. And so now you don't see anybody wearing neck rolls ever. And like everybody's shoulder pads are as small as they can get, so you can't grab onto each other and stuff. You can get through holes faster, where it's changed so much. And seeing things like this and like just different things to adapt it, like whoever thought of that, like if I just put a little pressure, it's going to help that much more, so your brain doesn't shake around. And I think it's just awesome.
So it was inspired by looking at woodpeckers.
Really?
And so when you look at the inside of a woodpecker's skull, obviously a woodpecker is taking its beak and it's beating into a tree many times, right?
Yeah.
What it does is they do a similar thing, but with their tongues. They use their tongues to compress their skull cavity and increase blood volume in the skull cavity. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Awesome. So that's where it was inspired from.
Holy God. Nuts. That's the science behind it, man. I love it. That stuff. That's so cool. Very cool.
That's cool shit.
I'm glad I didn't forget to
ask. I learned something today.
One thing I was trying to remember. Like, I gotta ask AJ about this because I've been so curious about this.
That's awesome. So do they still send you stuff, or do you still go through them? And
I mean, they have. So these last about 2 years is what they last. And so 2 years is what I had. So 2 years is what I got. But I will continue to wear it as I continue to play.
I thought it's cool too that they actually color it in maroon. For
So it's actually a sleeve. So like all of them.
Okay.
Yeah, so all of them are. I'm not going to take the sleeve off, but all of them are black. Like if you look at Nick's and Eli, those are just the straight black ones. But they were nice enough to send me a nice little maroon sleeve.
I like that. I like it. That's cool. Very
well.
Cool.
AJ, I can't thank you enough for coming on and staying up, late. So, but we will definitely your book. If you guys have not heard of his book, you need to go get it right away. Make him so busy that he's like, God, I hate these guys, this Fight on Montana guys. They're making me busy. But that's what we're gonna try to do, is get you so busy that you're like,
beautiful.
Lord, I hate you guys.
No.
But yes, go read his book, go support him, and watch him play for. I've already for
Fisher's Freight.
Fisher's Freight.
Fisher's Freight.
And then what is their mascot? Or do they have a mascot? Is it or just Fisher Freight?
So Fisher's is the name of the city, and then the Freight is the name of the team. So it's like Miami Heat.
Okay.
Miami Heat, OKC Thunder, similar.
Okay. Okay. I was just like, Fisher's Freight. That sounds like almost like a freight company. I'm like,
Like a company,
maybe a company supported them or something. Soccer's like that, so maybe.
Yeah.
Definitely, guys, support him. I can't thank you enough, AJ. Really loved watching you play for the Griz.
Absolutely.
And can't thank you enough. You still doing the podcast? You had a podcast for a while.
I do. I still do it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So that's another thing I kind of dipped my toe in. Is it's called Barn Burner Sports. I started it back in COVID when our season was canceled because I was like, I got nothing else to do.
Yeah.
So Barn Burner Sports is what came out of it. It's like what I saw in the sports media industry. Like I said, I'm a writer. I'm into media and stuff like that. And so what I saw that there was a lack of player representation in sports media, and obviously I was somewhat limited because of I was a college athlete. I'm not going to go speak on these big public issues because I don't want to put myself or my team in a position to where I got to answer for that, right? So, but now I'm able to do that. So if you guys want to check it out, it's linked to my Twitter.
That's awesome. That's very awesome, cool, man. Well, can't thank you enough, man. And
of course,
any last things you want to promote or anything? Last chance here. Well, anything you want.
All good. No, I'm good. I'm good. I'm done talking about myself, brother.
All right. Well, we appreciate you again, man. And
pleasure, AJ. Thanks, man.
Of course. Yeah, thanks for reaching out, guys. I appreciate it. I had a great time. Go Griz.
Awesome, man.